Hey guys, and welcome to the first video of my MCU Week mini-series. I am very excited to be doing this. It's the week where I do entirely Marvel Cinematic Universe related analyses in the build-up to Infinity War, which I will be seeing Thursday night and doing a review the very next day for you all. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I hear a ton of superhero fanboys on a daily basis say that Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man film, and some even give it the prestigious title of being the best superhero movie of all time. Now, I like hearing that second opinion sometimes because it's refreshing to see someone name a film in that category other than The Dark Knight, but I still fundamentally disagree with it. I truly believe the best Spider-Man film that we've ever gotten is the one we got just last year, and that is Spider-Man Homecoming. And here's why. This movie takes place fairly soon after the events of Civil War, and 6 months after Peter Parker becomes Spider-Man. I don't care what that wonky time card says. The first scene introduces us to the villain, and then cuts to Peter's normal life in high school and his after-school job of saving people as Spider-Man. This setting makes Spider-Man's dilemma so much more interesting. He has a lot more to deal with than just keeping up with Mary Jane, which was just a very repetitive plotline between the first two Raimi films. Now he's got to balance school, a love interest, fighting a weapon-selling villain, and protecting his identity. And he acts as reckless, arrogant, and at the same time, honorably and charismatically as a character with those weights on his shoulders would. It makes him very relatable and human. Tobey Maguire acted far too shy and nerdy, and Andrew Garfield acted a little too smart and cocky. But Tom Holland is just the perfect blend of the two. Another thing that absolutely makes this film is Adrian Toomes, aka the Vulture, another bird-related role for Michael Keaton. This character has a decent motivation. He's a working-class guy who's just trying to protect his family and getting back at Tony Stark for taking his job. This is the first Marvel supervillain that doesn't really feel like such. Everything he does serves a function. He doesn't just do things because evil. And that very need to do evil in order to protect the ones you love, but simultaneously putting the ones you love, enveloping them into this criminal world and putting them at risk, is the perfect parallel to Spider-Man's deal, where he's constantly trying to stop evil, do good for humanity, but he ends up putting himself at risk, and even the ones he's trying to protect. They're two flawed characters with different ideas about the world, but the same sort of inner conflict. And the fact that, spoiler, Peter's love interest Liz turns out to be the daughter of Adrian Toomes just heightens the tension between these two. One of the best scenes in the entire movie is the scene where Peter meets Adrian at Liz's house before the homecoming dance. This expression says it all. It's nice to see an interesting twist in a Marvel movie. Doesn't happen very often. My only problem with this dynamic is that Spider-Man seems to feel no direct connection to him. In the originals, it was emphasized that Spider-Man was incredibly poor. In this movie, we don't see much of that. So, Vulture's speech, where he says this:
Those people, Pete, those people up there, the rich and the powerful, they do whatever they want. Guys like us, you and me, they don't care about us. We build their roads and we fight all their wars and everything. They don't care about us. We have to pick up after them. We have to eat their table scraps.
Doesn't actually mean all that much. But obviously that doesn't taint Spider-Man's sympathy, because he saved him in the end. I don't know if he quite deserves it, but I applaud him for being the better person. Another component that was actually surprisingly well handled was the incorporating of the rest of the universe into this film. This is the first MCU film that we really get to see just the pure impact that these superheroes have on the world. Tony Stark has an internship, Captain America does inspirational videos for frickin' gym class, and there was an entire task force dedicated to cleaning up one wreckage from the Battle of New York. Spider-Man is a hero in an environment swarming with them. Heck, his suit is made by frickin' Iron Man himself. In the other movies, you got the sense that Spider-Man was no ordinary guy. The entire city flocked around him as a national icon. He fought these villains that could probably destroy the entire world. In this film, we do see some spider pride, but it's not this giant deal. After seeing aliens and gods come out from portals in the sky, and a man turn into a giant green monster, nothing will surprise the citizens of New York. And we see that he constantly needs help, from Tony Stark, from Ned, everyone for God's sake. In this environment, Spider-Man actually has to do courageous things to stand out. This is the most grounded, interesting, cinematic interpretation of this character to date. I'm not trying to say that this is an incredibly deep, meaningful film and that it's the next Citizen Kane or something, but I will say this is one of the only films I've ever seen that has flaws, but they feel like elements that weren't forgotten about, but purposely left out as to not convolute the better story they had to tell behind it. These are the reasons I believe this is by far the best Spider-Man and the best in the MCU to date. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the first video in MCU week. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's video, which will be about why I think the DCEU has failed thus far. See ya. Mighty roar. Ka-chow.
Check out my cool shirt my grandma bought me.